I'd like to first thank you for honoring our invitation with your presence here today. On behalf of TVS Racing, I extend a warm welcome to each one of you. Well, as you know, we are here to announce a special racing program. And to take things further, may I invite my colleagues, Mr. Arvind Pangankar, the head of racing, and Mr. Arun Siddharth, Senior General Manager Marketing, to kindly come up to the stage and talk us through. While they make their way up, may I request you, ladies and gentlemen, to kindly keep your mobile phones on silent mode during the course of the conference. Thank you. Mr. Arvind and Mr. Siddharth, please.
Thank you, Arjun. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm tempted to stand up and tell you because it is something so exciting for me, and I'm sure you must be waiting to know as to why we have all gathered today. Well, in the past, we have definitely got together on various occasions, but it was connected with the motocross, rallies and all that. But this time, it is something, as far as personally I am concerned, it is the top of the world thing. TVS Racing will be at world famous Dakar rally in this January. That's it. And the Dakar is considered to be the world's toughest of off-road events, and that's where we are going to be. Myself and my engineers, we have coordinated with the company, and to elaborate it further, I would like to tell you that we have tied up with Sherco Motorcycles for the forthcoming Dakar 2015. Now, before we go further, I would like to take you through a presentation which gives more details of things. Well, before we talk of our partners for the Dakar event, I would like to tell you something more about our own stories. It may be a little repetition to you, but there are many more interesting aspects added to the thing. TVS Racing was established as part of the R&D of TVS in 1984. Over the years we have learned. Many of learning has been from our mistakes also, no doubt. But then the learning never comes free. So we have been participating into most of the leading racing events in India, right from '84 till date. And I am proud to tell you that the success rate of the number of participation and the number of winning has been of the order of almost 90%. And then further, now about our riders. In India, you take any of the prominent names, whether they are into the rallies or motocross or road racing. At some time or the other, they have been tied up with TVS, either as a factory team or maybe associates. I would just like to take you back to some of those memories. I want to mention some of the names. Give me a second. Now these names may not be new to you at all. In motocross, in the past we have had Shyam Kothari, who was our rider, Kaizad Patel, Ashok Raja, Karan Kadam, Gautam Kadam's son, Gaurav Gill, who is now in the cars, in rallies and all that, was riding for TVS, Nirmal Rai, Nipender Jassi, Pratap Bhagwat, Zubin Patel, Vijay Kumar, and the list is unending. What I am trying to convey to you is, the racing has been such a great passion, not only in my team, but right through the company's top management and people connected with it. Because racing, not only I believe, everybody believes that racing and competition is something that improves the breed itself. It's the breed in almost everything, whether it is technology or human capabilities, and it makes you, I would say, a better human being. If you are a sportsman, then you have to be in terms with the realities, and you have to accept whatever happens around you. Here I am just reminded of a great man by name Epictetus, who was probably born in 35 AD, and he was a Roman slave. And then he wrote certain things about art of living. Only one of the things which I would like to say, which also corroborates with racing and the competition people, to make or to understand the difference between what is in your control and what is not in your control. And these realities we learn during our competitions, day in and day out. So it makes us happier, surely, no doubt at all. So some of the championships that currently, which are prevalent in India for last maybe more than 10 years, the MRF Supercross Championship, which is where the MRF is the main sponsor, and TVS is also, of course, a co-sponsor, and it is conducted by one of our ex-riders, Shyam Kothari, who has a club from Pune. Then National Road Racing, which happens on a track that is created. Now today in India, we have three tracks. One is MMRT, which is Madras Motor Racing Track. The other one is at Coimbatore. And of course, there is a F1 track in north, near Delhi. So those are the races also which TVS Racing has been taking part right from beginning. Then talking about off-road events. Now off-road, it can be classified into simple things like dirt track. You just have a ground, football ground kind of thing, and you take a motorcycle and you try to go in maybe yes type of thing and all that, and when you compete, whosoever is faster. But of course, you require different kind of tires for off-road. And off-road further, it can be extended to motocross. Motocross or supercross is like jumping the motorcycle from ground to heights like maybe 30 feet or 35 feet. So, which is also prevalent in India and nearby countries like Sri Lanka, and of course the rest of the world. America is probably the leading country into having supercross championships. Then some of the famous rallies which are conducted in India, like Red to Himalaya, Karnataka 1000, as you know. So these rallies are also conducted in India on regular basis. Monsoon rally, which are specifically during rainy season, where the capability of the motorcycle as well as the rider gets tested. Then we have been actively participating abroad, but a lot of it has happened in our neighbor, which is Sri Lanka. And interestingly, Sri Lanka, the events are actually organized or conducted, though the club is the one which takes the registration of riders, but the events are conducted by Army, Navy, Air Force, and in their campus they have permanent tracks. And since we thought as TVS has business in Sri Lanka also, why not use this opportunity of traveling to Sri Lanka and taking part into the races, which acts as excellent training ground for my team riders also. So we have been participating into Sigiriya, Fox Hill, which is quite famous in this part of the world, and Winner Supercross. And to tell you the truth, most of these we have won. This year particularly, 2014, we have won the Red Himalaya, we have won the Sigiriya, then Fox Hill, Road Racing Championship of 2014. Well, that has been kind of part of activity of TVS Racing, where learning is a non-stop process. Now, as you can see, these are the road racing riders, and we have had stalwarts like, past, the current riders are of course there, but some of the names is like Subhash Chandra Bose, R.A. Abdullah, even Rajani, they were riding for TVS. And the picture that you see is one of the dirt track races, where, as I said, there is no jump for the bikes. This is the motocross. And motocross is really something to see, or supercross. Supercross and motocross, there is a small difference. Motocross is usually does not have too many jumps, and the area is not limited to the ground. But it is over a small terrain, and one lap maybe as long as maybe a kilometer also, or 1.5 kilometer. And it is normally on natural ground with the humps which are there, which are not man-made. Supercross is something where the humps are created by bringing external mud. Maybe the location of conducting the event is important, because for marketing reasons or for getting branding, these events are conducted right into the city with specifically prepared jumps. There are hoop-de-doos which are continuous rumblers, and the skill is extremely tested right then and there itself. There are so many ways, and in Supercross, though there are rules, but you can still fight. You can push the other person also to the corner, mainly fall. There are fractures at times, but then the joy of winning and being ahead of everybody is something which tempts these riders to keep doing the same thing again and again. And then there are rallies. Rallies have become very important in India these days. Though the space available for conducting rallies has reduced drastically, because rallies used to be conducted earlier through village roads. Now, because of the safety factors and all that, these are conducted into private properties. And TVS Racing has been very actively taking part with all the rally events which happen from a scooter to motorcycles to big motorcycles. And this shot that you just now saw was from Monsoon Rally. And of course, rallies, as I said in the beginning, that we have won many of the major rallies. Red Himalaya was the toughest one, where we have competition with foreign riders also from Australia, from New Zealand. And I'm proud to tell you that one of my team riders by name R. Natraj, he won the Red Himalaya this year. Now, the TVS Racing, a brief history. Now, again, this is slides we are going to talk about. Now, why do we race could be a question to any common man. As to why do you spend money, and why do you put so many engineers behind jumping around and things like that. But in India, maybe TVS Racing is the only racing team which is directly associated or part of the R&D of the company. And I'm proud to say that the team has been part of R&D engineers, and we exchange engineers between the designers as well as the racing department. And a lot of valuable feedback that we keep getting from the track. Many of our new models, which either have been a result of racing or they have been improved for the reliability and robustness and structural stability and all that because of racing. Because racing rider, you know, he is not just a commoner. He has to be a crazy chap who just probably doesn't care of maybe his body parts. He wants to be ahead, simply ahead. And in the course of doing that particular act, he will not really much care for the vehicle that he is riding, whether some parts will break, he is not bothered. So in a way, it helps us to study as to under extreme conditions, as to what all can go wrong, and very quickly. Of course, in R&D we have our own method of evaluating the reliability through FEMs and so many of testing methods. But nothing like the direct feedback from riders who try it out for the suspension, for engine reliability, the power output, you know, various things. So that's what we gain from the racetrack. In fact, our flagship model, which is the RTR, branded RTR, we make 160cc, 180cc, and many more to come, has been a result thoroughly because of our racing experience. Well, some of the things which we venture as to what is it that we give to the common man or the race goers. Way back, I remember the most active period where personally I also learned so many things was between maybe 1990 to 2000, which included breaking some bones, learning so many things, so many failures, so many winnings. And rallies used to be rather far more, rigorous in those days, like coffee 500 and Desert Storm Rally. Then in the north also we used to have so many rallies. So we had to release a model which was usable for customers, and I am proud to say that we were the first who came out with a rally kit at that time, which was sold along with a model which was Supra SS, specially prepared. Then during all these events, braking power became very critical. So the first disc brake that was developed in racing unit of our company, then many of you, or maybe I don't know, the seniors, maybe knowing the model by name Shogun, TVS Shogun. Shogun was 100% result of probably beating the competition. Earlier we had collaboration with Suzuki, which was a 7 horsepower engine. And we had to compete in those days with Yamaha, which was ahead in power. So Shogun was developed specifically by racing engineers and by TVS Racing. And later on, it saw the light of the day into regular production also. And then there was no looking back, because Shogun was the first two-stroke at that time, which was developing 14 horsepower. So Shogun was a development in racing, then gearbox development we did because racing required a 5-speed gearbox. So the first 5-speed gearbox was also developed by TVS Racing. And then, as you know now, the RTR on the back of it, which we are really moving ahead, has been a result thoroughly because of racing. So that's the little brief of the TVS Racing.
Going forward, we are associating TVS Racing with this French manufacturer of motorcycles called Sherco Motorcycles. They're a well-known off-road and trail bike manufacturer in Europe. They have a range of around 30 different models in motorcycles. and they have global competition experience. So when we're going to races like this, we needed to evaluate, and since the requirements were about also learning invaluable lessons on the racetrack, and because we will be involved in engineering also, we looked at their competition readiness. And this was a company which was already competing at world, European as well as national levels. And they have experienced riders with several years of Dakar experience. So Sherco, like I said, is a French manufacturer with different models, and this is how we decided for TVS Racing to associate with Sherco Motorcycles for Dakar.
Yeah, taking it further from whatever Arun said, you surely have heard as to what Dakar Rally is. It is the ultimate endurance test of man and machine together. It is the toughest off-road event which goes through all kind of terrains. It is sand dunes, then you have got river beds, extreme temperatures, and 10,000 kilometers. What more you want? I think that's more than required to prove oneself. And as I have gathered and I have moved around with some of the best people in this field, particularly with the Sherco engineers and the Sherco people, along with whom we have built this new motorcycle also, which is RTR 450. What I understand is, you speak to anybody, they don't talk of just winning Dakar casually in the way that somebody would want to brag about. It just doesn't happen. It starts with probably being satisfied with getting some placing on the podium, if not podium, within 10, if not that, then within 20. And they all talk about winning one of the days during the 6 days. Day fourth leg of Dakar. No, this is just to give you an idea as to how tough the stuff is. It is the toughest, and maybe we can compare it straight away with F1. This could be just maybe 1.5 times F1 or World MotoGP, because it is not only the bike, it is the rider, his temperament, his capability, plus lot of work to the service team also. The tires wear out, the tires have a puncture. You could have almost problem of any kind actually. Very difficult terrain and toughest motorsport event of our time, I would say, is the Dakar. These are specifically manufactured vehicles with extra tank, because you require a lot of fuel. So there is a fuel tank in the back, there is a fuel tank in the sides, which is equipped with pumps which are to be activated, because you cannot carry simply all the load right in the front. And it has got sensors which tells the location of the rider. The rider in emergency can always call on the phones which tell his location. So all such equipments, they are all a part of the thing. Safety, of course. And then these are specifically manufactured vehicles, of course. They may not look like the common one, because the kind of fairing they are supposed to use, and a lot of carbon fiber is also used into the motorcycle, because one fall, if the radiator breaks, then you are out of the rally. And there are areas where the rider has to manage everything himself. And you will be happy to know that almost 50 nations take part. And this year's list of competitors, it goes to 168 competitors. And we do not know how many finishers will be there. So we have 2 motorcycles which are branded RTR 450s, and the rally's team's name is Sherco TVS Rally Factory. That's the team's name. and we will together participate into this 2015 rally. Then mainly the choice of the riders. We have both the riders who are French riders, and they have been chosen mainly because of their past experience. And Fabian Planet and Alain Duclos. Now talking about Fabian Planet, he was the world champion in enduro competitions, both in France and internationally in 2014, 13, 2003 and 2002 also. Several podium finishes in enduro, of course. Enduro is a different kind of competition, and Dakar Rally is different, of course. Dakar Rally is a different nature, but a tougher thing to face. So he has been a champion in E1, E2 as well as E3, and then he was 12th in 2007 in Dakar Rally, and then classic races, the race, Shark Extreme, and a variety of those details as you see, 12th Dila, Chindila, etc. That is Fabian Planet for you. I have met this young man. His English was a little difficult to understand, but well, the body language is good enough for us. And we are confident for having chosen this rider, we will do well. Then this is another rider who won the stage 6 at Dakar 2014, which was this year in January. And 10 times he has participated in Dakar, which speaks itself a lot. Just completing 10 rallies is really something. When I was speaking to him, it was so much of learning about practically as to what happens there at the rally situation. He has been a champion in enduro 4 times, and then he got 3rd place in Rally Europe Central, 4th at the Desert Challenge in UAE. So that is Alain Duclos. Very strong chap. You see him standing, it's like a bull standing there. Because such strength is required to avoid or get up from small injuries and all that, and still carry your bike and keep going ahead. So that is Alain. And here you can see the Sherco TVS Rally Factory team. From your left, one of our engineers, that's Anand Hariharan. Then next is Selvaraj. Next to him is from Sherco, is Thomas. Then the rider. Then the chairman of Sherco. And I am somewhere there, along with the team. So we are looking forward to this exciting experience also, because along with me, my 2 engineers, we will be going into a 4x4 as a service team, along with Mr. Mark of Sherco before, and then we will see the reality of what they talk about Dakar. All of us are excited. And that's it as far as this particular thing is concerned.
So like Mr. Arvind was saying, Dakar is the most ultimate motorcycling challenge, and that's exactly why we're going there. For an Indian manufacturer and being the first one to be there, the learnings are bound to be huge for us. We believe that the relevant learning will be introduced to improve our own TVS racing capabilities, which has to get to the international stage now, and the competitiveness of TVS racing as a unit, with India getting more and more manufacturers. The presence of brand TVS racing on the international scene is extremely important, like what Mr. Arvind said, because TVS racing is an extremely integral part of the company, and this is very, very clear to people across different rank and file of the company. And because we don't do this for bread alone, it's extremely important that we are competitive and manufactured at Sherco Motorcycles facility. It's a much more competitive bike than what they had earlier. It's a lightweight bike. There's a lot of weight saving which has been done for this year's model, which is the RTR 450. And it's equipped with a highly reliable, the focus has been on reliability, because Dakar is about very different kind of terrains every day that you're crisscrossing, and you're riding roughly 9,000 kilometers, so then the reliability becomes extremely important. And overall, it's a completely new design with a new fairing. Several additional upgrades to enhance the bike's ride handling, because just to tell you, like what Mr. Arvind was saying, to add to his point, just to give you a sense, it's about 9,000 kilometers of racing, which is roughly around 5 seasons of MotoGP. That means 5 years in MotoGP or 2 years in Formula 1. That's one race in Dakar. So there are several additional upgrades to improve the ride handling. People are riding roughly around 750 to 800 kilometers a day. And engineers from TVS Racing have been working tirelessly on this project alongside the team at Sherco to develop this bike. And we'll also be there during the race, working alongside every minute of the race event, aiding the team along with our engineers. From a point of view of the brand, why we're doing this, we genuinely believe, with a history as rich as ours, as what you saw in the first 3 slides, it's important that TVS Racing gets its due in the marketplace. And we genuinely believe more than anything else that we are a product company, we're an engineering company, and racing is the pinnacle of engineering. So it will benefit us tremendously in terms of improvement and of our capabilities. Also, we have a Apache RTR series which is developed by TVS Racing, and the learnings from such an event, which is so grueling and which is so tough, are bound to be immense. And as a brand, RTR speaks more to its owners, and we genuinely feel this is something we owe to TVS owners who buy our Apache RTR franchise, to get the kind of learnings we have on an international stage like this back into road bikes which they buy.
No, as I spoke about these motorcycles, in the preparation of these bikes, we have developed a new engine, and we have worked together with Sherco. My engineers and myself, we were there almost for 8 to 10 days to share certain points and certain suggestions. And this is a brand new engine, which is a double overhead cam, and it's a 450cc, and specially built new fairing, which is very critical to avoid the wind resistance. And there are so many details into the entire construction of this motorcycle, which was something great for us to see also, because we from racing team, we were exposed to this type of thing for the first time, and it was world class. So the learning which we are surely going to have through this adventure or venture over a period of almost 15 days, because some of us, we 3 of us, will be participating into the rally starting on 3rd. So we leave in the end of this month and probably come back with a lot of learning, and hopefully, surely some good results of this learning on our motorcycles, and we'll be back somewhere in the middle of January. So that's what it is as far as this challenge is concerned. So that's the bike for you, as you can see, RTR 450.
We'll now take questions.